Welcome, Derek. Thank you for joining our podcast and our lovely new setup. We feel so fancy with these.
It's very professional.
These mics, I know.
It's like a real podcast.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So you've been with us on and off for a few years now at various locations. Originally, you came because being a desk job worker, you realized that sitting all day isn't great for the body.
No, it is not.
No.
I'm a software developer, and so a lot of my time I'm chained to my desk. I do stand sometimes, but it's just not enough. You need to get the body active and moving.
Yeah, when I asked you what benefits you saw with seeing a personal trainer, you said that being more motivated was something that stood out to you. Can you talk a little bit more about that and how having a trainer helps with motivation? Because that's something our clients ask us about a lot.
Yeah, for sure. So as I kind of alluded to in our exchange, basically I would go to like regular gyms, Planet Fitness and whatever. But I never had a plan, didn't have someone kind of correcting my form, or just basically didn't have a plan or know what I was doing. So the huge benefit of coming to Freeform, right, is that you have that person who's dedicated to you, who's watching you and correcting your form in real time. And so for the motivation part, we have a really good rapport. I look forward to coming in. I come in Tuesdays and Thursdays. Nick is always there, always ready to go. So it's a huge motivator.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah, I think that relationship is important because you're not going to want to come if you hate your trainer.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I was mentioning to Nick before you got here, Derek, that a few years ago when I was managing this location, I met with a client who wasn't really happy with her sessions, and one of the things she mentioned was, not really liking her trainers asking her about her day or what she did on the weekend or something like that. But we do realize that developing that relationship is important with our clients. Like we're not asking just to waste time.
Or to be nosy.
Yeah, no, exactly. So Nick, as Derek's trainer and with your other clients in general, why is it important for you to kind of like ask clients those details about their life?
Well, I think it's kind of good to get to know your clients for like a few reasons kind of thing. Like one, when building that rapport, know sort of how to communicate. Like Derek and I, we joke a lot kind of thing, and definitely got clients that are a little bit more serious. Let's get to the work. So kind of helps my sort of training style, how to motivate, how to push the clients. It's also important for us to kind of know what's been going on the past few days. So on every session, I'll ask like, hey, what have you been up to? How are you feeling? If I know that you bike ride a lot kind of thing. If you took like a heavy slam out on one ride, like I'm not going to be like pushing you to progress your weight. I might even start us off a little bit slower. I'm going to probably be more observant of the injured area just to make sure that we're not like trying to make something work that we shouldn't be trying to make work. So yeah, it's just really good to know how to train the client and also things to look out for.
Yeah, especially with you, Derek. Recently, you had surgery, some health issues, so knowing how you're feeling and what you're doing outside of your sessions with Nick is important to know when to push yourself, right? Because you had to take things slow when you came back after your surgery.
Yeah, so basically at the end of last year, I won't go into too many details, but yeah, I had a medical emergency and had to have surgery for it. And so the doctor was basically like, no working out, no lifting more than like 20 pounds for the next like couple months. So I was like, well, that sucks, but obviously I want to heal, so take it slow. So I took a couple weeks off. Freeform was super good about that. When I came back, took it real slow. I think every session you were asking me, Nick, like how things were feeling in the affected areas.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great to do something to keep the body active, but not necessarily focusing on, building more than what was there before. So once I was fully healed and had the okay to go back into things, I hadn't lost anything really.
Yeah, no, we're like pretty much at or past where we used to be. Like we've progressed, and like you said, we definitely had to take it slow, but we wanted to keep that like mind muscle connection. So we dropped down the body weight, but we made sure that we still had the form so that when the strength was back, like we could be where we want. And yeah, it's September now. It's been a few months, and lots of progress has been made, kind of thing. And we're I think this program and the last program, we got back into the big heavy compounds again, which is nice. The squat, the deadlift, bench press. So it's been great.
Yeah, the squat was the one thing we had to kind of hold back on for a number of months just because it would hurt too much.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to aggravate it, so.
Definitely. I also, with the core too, I remember the core, it was like we had to really regress because right before everything had happened, before the new year kind of thing, we were doing like we're getting fun with it, trying to have one of the days be like an isolation day, and we were doing like core only days with like advanced like exercises, and it was like that was just not a possibility when we got back, so we had to dial it back. But you're now doing it again, you know.
Back doing the pull-ups.
Back to the pull-ups,
with the straight form and barely like no swing to it too.
Yeah, no, it's looking good, and the weights are heavy again. I'm happy about it.
Nice. When you first came back after your surgery, Derek, having to dial things back a little bit, did that affect your motivation at all?
I think I was more motivated to see it through and not to give up. I was like a little bit, discouraged, I guess, because I couldn't do what I had done a couple months before. But, being realistic with myself, I just said, just keep doing what you can without overexerting yourself or causing more injury. And, eventually things will be back to normal and I can kind of progress more. So
yeah. Okay.
And like, if I can just add, like, what an incredible amount of like willpower and control that takes, because like, it wasn't like your entire body was like, oh, I can't do what I can. So you can oftentimes come back from the gym from an injury, go into it, like the squat, for example, like your quads like weren't affected. You had the strength for it, but then with the core, it's like we could have had issues. So it was good to sort of be honest with yourself and keep it dialed back. And just coming back to the gym to stay consistent. With this podcast, we're talking about motivation. Consistency is probably the biggest motivator. So I'm happy that you came back as quickly as you did. And even though it was a little frustrating dialing it back, you were still staying consistent to get to where we are now.
Yeah, and kind of going back to what you were saying before about, asking clients how they're feeling, that was super helpful as well, because I was able to identify, today, like, the area where I had surgery is really sensitive, and, can we modify what we're doing, because this isn't really working out for me, and, just like you're very dynamic in that way, and was able to change it up. So I could still get the same kind of workout, but just working different components.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I guess whereas if you were trying to do this on your own, you'd probably just say, oh, that hurts. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, my exercise would be going to the couch and turning the TV on.
Yeah. So it's definitely better to do something than not. So Nick mentioned the consistency being an important aspect in keeping you motivated. Now, you had mentioned that at one point in time, you were only coming once a week, and you noticed that you weren't seeing as much results as you currently are, coming twice a week. Now, did that affect your motivation at all, not seeing many results?
I think, yeah, to an extent. Once a week is better than no times a week, but for me, 2 times is kind of the sweet spot. I know there's some people who probably come every day, which should be amazing, but I just don't have the time in my schedule to do that. So, twice a week, being able to do, push and pull day, having that variation, is just kind of engaging, and motivating in and of itself, I would say.
Yeah, a little bit more variety.
Yeah, when it's just once a week, it's kind of like a bit of a chore almost, rather than like a habit of something that you want to do. At least that's how I think about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Nick, as a trainer, for those who can't come as many times as they would like to, how do you keep these clients motivated if they're not able to exercise as much as they should in order to get results quicker, let's say?
Yeah. So with my clients that I see once a week, if they're open to it kind of thing, you know, it's like keeping like an open line of communication kind of thing to sort of, you know, keep them thinking about it. With Derek coming in 2 times a week, it's like he's in the gym every 2-3 days. It's like, it's a pattern. Once a week, it's like there's enough time to like, okay, I went to the gym, now I've got like 6 days to forget about the gym. It's hard to build it. So keeping communication with your clients kind of thing. I advocate for active hobbies kind of thing, like Derek with his biking kind of thing. Other clients, you know, with like sports or with walking, stuff like that, to help keep them motivated and keep them active. And ideally, that helps them with their progress. If you keep the body moving, keep it limber kind of thing, it's not going to be like we're backpedaling, we have to work to get to where we were last week. It's we've maintained what we've got, now we can progress. And next time I see them in the gym.
Yeah, progression, seeing how you are improving is motivating. To keep things simple, it's really just building that habit, right? Like you mentioned, Derek, it's kind of, you know, ingrained in you now, having to come twice a week. It's not a chore, it's something that you enjoy doing, but it's part of your day-to-day lifestyle. And I think that's the mindset shift people need to take when they think about being motivated to exercise. They think they have to want to exercise in order to do it and get motivated, but you can't really wait for that to happen because it may never happen.
Yeah, most of the time in the mornings I don't want to get up and come to the gym,
Yeah.
but I'm happier for having done it afterwards. Kind of like, yeah, making it a habit or part of your routine, you know, like brushing your teeth and flossing, stuff like that. It's just kind of another dimension of taking care of yourself. Is doing a workout.
Yeah, because when you think about it, like, again, brushing your teeth, you know, you don't have to, like, get jacked up and be like, oh, I'm gonna go brush my teeth. But I think that's...
Some people.
Maybe. But I think that's what people have in their heads when they think, oh, I have to feel that way in order to want to exercise. But you kind of just have to do it.
And you know what? I think the way you went about it too, Derek, too, was great. A lot of people... when they get into the gym, they're like, okay, I'm going to go every day. I'm going to grind this out. You know, you started with once a week, you built that habit, and then you're like, okay, let's try tacking on another day, and then like continuing and like growing that way kind of thing, as opposed to getting overwhelmed and then it's no longer routine.
Yeah.
What inspires you with exercise kind of thing? I when we work out and we hit an end of a program, I often ask you like what sort of things you want to work on kind of thing and bring back. What sort of, with this program we were bringing back the pull-ups, for example, like what sort of put that in your head as to like, oh, I want to progress this?
Yeah, so maybe this will sound kind of cheesy, but like, you know, in a lot of movies, action movies, got like, you know, really strong you know, people. I also watched a number of just like, you know, random Instagram videos of people like doing workouts, and it's just kind of like, I'd like to be able to do at least some of that, right?
Yeah.
Like for the pull-ups, I completely forget who the person is or anything like that, but it was just like, just seeing like the smooth, you know, pull up and kind of just the movements. I was like, okay, I really want to work towards that. I think I mentioned that to you.
As I was doing the cleanest pull-ups of my life, right? Yeah. But yeah, no, I think people around us kind of thing can be great motivators in that sense too. Not only just to get into the gym, but like what areas we want to improve on, what new skills we want to learn.
Were pull-ups ever on your radar until you reached a certain point, or?
Yeah, they're kind of like, I knew they existed obviously,
Yeah.
but I was always like, I'm too lazy to do that.
Yeah.
And then,
or if it seems so impossible, like, why bother trying sometimes, right?
Yeah, I always made excuses like, oh, I don't have the right equipment, or, you know, I don't go to the gym that often, so like there's no point doing it. But I actually ended up buying one of the ones that hooks onto your door frame and started using that. I think that was around the same time we started doing pull-ups, so it was a nice, like, coincidence, I guess. And then just like I mentioned, seeing some of those like TikToks or whatever of people working out, and seeing just like the form, perfect form. I was like, okay, I really want to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because that's like great fitness.
How close is he, Nick, to doing that?
Really close. Yeah. The form's clean kind of thing. Well, we started with like assisted pull-ups, doing with a lot of help, and then we just keep lowering. For anyone that is trying to learn pull-ups, that's probably the best route that I would recommend taking, is doing the actual movement. I know tons of people that like really strong lats from doing like lat pulls and stuff like that, but when it comes to having that like mind muscle connection kind of thing for that specific movement, it's a whole new challenge. So doing assisted pull-ups and then just making it harder is best, and we've seen a lot of progress with it kind of thing. I think before the surgery, were we doing body weight, or were we like really
we had a couple body weight ones.
Yeah, we had a couple body weights one, and now that we're back into
the smaller bands.
It's like the thinnest band. It's like maybe 20 pounds taken off of your body, so it's like in another like 2 weeks I think we'll be like ready to go back to body weight again.
Yeah, I remember last year when we were starting out on some of the pull-ups, we had like the biggest, thickest band possible that I was just like flying. Doing so now we're back to normalcy.
Yeah.
Nice. And then soon, no more band.
No band. All muscle.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna like hang on to your back and we'll do weighted ones.
Exactly.
Yeah. Get my Yoda on.
Take us back to the beginning, Derek, and when you first came to Freeform. Like, did you try going to the gym on your own before that?
Yeah, loads of times.
Yeah.
So going way back, so like I think 2017 was the first time that I went to a Freeform location, and that was in Canada. And the reason I went there was kind of twofold. One was proximity to where I was working at the time in the Canada tech area. The other thing is that I saw that, 8 lessons for $99 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, why don't I just try it, right? Like, because I'd never had a personal trainer before and didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
So I did that, and it definitely changed my mind about the whole like PT aspect.
How so?
Well, I thought it was only for like people who wanted to be like bodybuilders or something, or people who are like, going to be in the movies to be James Bond or some ridiculous stuff like that. But it is for everybody, and I think a lot more people can benefit from the kind of training and workout it is than just going to kind of a regular gym. Like I mentioned before, there's someone who's basically an expert in fitness and has a vested interest in how you want to progress, because there's a lot of like, I think very often you say, is this what you want to do, like what are your goals, like, because they can change over time. So just having that is a huge benefit.
When you were trying to go to the gym on your own, like, what was that like for you?
Scattered, dysfunctional. I just didn't have any motivation because like I didn't really go with a buddy or anything. There's all this equipment, most of which it's already in use, and you have to like wait your turn. Not to like harp on a particular gym, but some of them are kind of, I don't know, bro havens or whatever, and so it's like a little bit intimidating. And so I don't know, I just personally like the one-on-one session, because it's just way more personal, obviously, in the name, and I just get more benefits personally.
When you're already unmotivated to exercise, the thought of going into an intimidating space where you may not know what you're doing or how to use your equipment,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't really help make things easier or even make it appealing to make that first step, does it?
Yeah, I basically just revert to running on the treadmill or going on the bike and not working on anything else that I really wanted to work on. Just didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
No, for sure. The gym is definitely like super intimidating. I went to a bro haven gym before, kind of thing, where you're seeing like some kid like poorly deadlifting like 500 pounds, kind of thing. I think for those who need that extra motivation or to make it a less intimidating atmosphere to go to a gym, whether it's they're trying to add extra workouts in between sessions or they're just training in the gym on their own, is like be consistent with your time, kind of thing, and get to know the regulars there, because like a lot of people there, they're scary, but like when you get to know them, they're like super soft,
Gentle
super
giants,
nice.
yeah.
Exactly, gentle giants. And they take the equipment, and then because they're so big, like people don't really want to hop in, but if you're friends, like you can hop in sets with them and stuff. So yeah, just making that connection with your personal trainer, but then when you're at a gym, making the connection with the others in the gym can definitely help motivate you, kind of thing, and make it less scary to be in the gym.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's probably some people who do both personal training and go to the gym. My gym outside of here is definitely biking
Yeah.
and basketball stuff. So that's kind of where I do things. But yeah, I think, a proper kind of routine involves, additional supplemental going to the gym.
Yeah.
Regardless of how many times, well, I guess if you're coming 7 days a week to Freeform, you probably don't need to do that, but...
You probably shouldn't be coming 7 times a week either.
Okay, 6 times with a rest day.
Well, yeah, and like for your biking kind of thing too, like you have no issues with motivation, like not to set up for a little flex here, but like you were telling me, how many kilometers have you put down so far this biking season?
So this biking season, just about 3,000 kilometers,
wow.
which for me is a personal best. I know there's some people who do way more than that, so 3,000 might not be huge, but for me it's pretty...
No, that's amazing. Mine is 0 kilometers for the past like 5 years.
Me
so
too.
No, and then like, why is it like so easy to be motivated to go out for a bike ride?
Yeah, for me, so I just love being out in nature. We have, Gatineau Park, which for me is like less than a 10-minute bike ride away. So there's no excuse for me not to go. And yeah, just going through kind of the winding bike paths and then onto the main road after the P3 is just like cathartic, being out there, smelling cleaner air, pushing myself up those hills. I remember at the beginning of the season going up to Pink Lake was such a huge like hike for me, and I would be like completely dead at the end, and now I just go up there all the time.
Yeah, like it's nothing.
Yeah.
So biking, like, would you say that's like more like exercise for you, or would you say it's like a hobby? Like it's something
Kind of
you enjoy
both.
to do? Yeah, definitely both.
Yeah.
So I think as like personal trainers, to help motivate our clients, you gotta make it something that you enjoy, kind of thing. You gotta make it fun. So then that way it's, I have to exercise. It's like, I'm gonna get to do this thing I enjoy.
Yeah. And then, the stronger you get, the more fit you get, the more you enjoy it, right?
Yeah. It becomes a bit easier.
Yeah, it's not, you're not exhausted by the end of your ride anymore. You can actually just finish and be like, I can actually enjoy this view of Pink Lake and hang out for a bit.
I also did a century ride this year, which was the first time I did that too. And that was exhausting, but it was like very rewarding, personally. So.
Yeah.
Just for the viewers that don't know, what's a century ride?
Yeah, that's when you do 100 kilometers on your bike in one go.
Oh my goodness, nice.
Nice. Yeah, endurance is definitely not my thing, but...
You say that, but you're sprinting all the time in soccer.
Yeah. Well, if I have a ball to chase, that's different. Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe Derek, I'll get you to bike in front of me with a ball, and
Sure.
I'll bike behind you chasing the ball.
There you go. Something you enjoy, it motivates.
Yeah, there you go. So, Derek, any last pieces of advice for anybody who might be watching, who's thinking of wanting to exercise or make a change to their lifestyle, but, is kind of just, stuck. Either they're, on the fence, they don't know, they're not motivated, they're unsure.
Well, I think that promotion, right? The 8 classes for like $100 is still a thing. So if you have $100 to spare and you want to work on your fitness, there's worse ways to spend it. Come in and just try it. That's what drew me in, and I haven't looked back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. That's all it is. Get started.
Yeah, you just gotta do it at least once. And if you find it's not for you, it's not for you. But I'm willing to bet that most people will enjoy trying it. So,
Yeah.
It feels good.
And we're not scary.
No. Only if you're late.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's fantastic, man.
Any last words from you, Nick?
Yeah, just to hammer home what Derek said, come to Freeform. 8 sessions for $96. Unlike, big box gyms, there's not a commitment policy, so you have nothing to lose. What you get in the intros is what you would get down the road here. So see if it's something for you. See if, at the very least, it gets the ball rolling. Help build that motivation.
Okay, great. Well, thanks again for joining us, Derek, and
Thanks
taking
for
the
having
time
me.
for chatting. And we'll see you guys in our next episode.
We'll see you Tuesday.
See you Tuesday.